Have you spent your life feeling just a bit out of sync with the world? Perhaps you were labeled a daydreamer, told you were disorganized, or that you simply needed to apply yourself more. For decades, you may have navigated misplaced keys, forgotten appointments, and unfinished projects, attributing it to your personality or, more recently, to a senior moment. But what if it wasn't a character flaw or just a sign of aging? What if a lifetime of challenges has a name? Today, we are discussing the growing number of seniors who are discovering a new truth about themselves through a late-life diagnosis of ADHD, an introduction to late-life ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is a neurodevelopmental condition. This means it originates in childhood and, for the majority of individuals, persists throughout life. For many older adults, the concept of ADHD was non-existent during their childhood. The hyperactive boy was just unruly, and the inattentive girl was simply in a world of her own. Consequently, generations of people have lived their entire lives without the language or understanding to explain their internal experiences. This video will explore what ADHD looks like in adults over 60. We will carefully distinguish its symptoms from those of normal aging or dementia. We will also address the complex emotions, both relief and grief, that can accompany this discovery. Most importantly, we will outline what comes next. How this knowledge can be used to improve your retirement years, from finding suitable hobbies to understanding the roles of therapy and medication. Symptoms and warning signs in older adults. In seniors, ADHD symptoms can be more subtle than the classic image of a hyperactive child suggests. The overt hyperactivity often transforms into a less visible, internal restlessness. A formal diagnosis requires that these symptoms have been present since childhood, creating a lifelong pattern of challenges. A clinician will conduct a thorough evaluation to establish this history. Here are the common presentations of ADHD in seniors, categorized into its core types. 1. Inattentive symptoms. This is the most common presentation in adults seeking a late diagnosis, particularly women. It is more than simple forgetfulness. It is a chronic difficulty in regulating attention. Difficulty sustaining focus. You may find it hard to stay focused on tasks that are tedious or uninteresting, such as reading detailed documents, balancing a checkbook, or completing forms. Your mind may drift away during conversations, even when you are trying your best to listen. Disorganization. Your living space, car, or workspace may be persistently cluttered. You might struggle with creating and maintaining organizational systems, leading to piles of mail or unfinished projects. Poor time management. A common trait known as time blindness can make it difficult to estimate how long a task will take. This can lead to being frequently late for appointments or missing deadlines. Forgetfulness in daily activities. This goes beyond occasional memory lapses. It involves frequently misplacing essential items like glasses, keys, wallets, and phones. You might also forget to return calls, pay bills, or attend appointments. Tendency to procrastinate. You may avoid tasks that require significant mental effort, putting them off until the last minute, which can cause significant stress and anxiety. 2. Hyperactive and impulsive symptoms. While physical hyperactivity often decreases with age, the feeling of it can remain. Internal restlessness. You might experience a constant feeling of being on the go or driven by a motor. It may be difficult to sit still through a movie, a meal, or a conversation without fidgeting, tapping your feet, or needing to get up and move around. Excessive talking. You may find yourself talking excessively, often dominating conversations without intending to. You might jump from one topic to another rapidly. Impulsivity. This can manifest in several ways. Social impulsivity. You might interrupt others frequently, blurt out answers before a question is completed, or make comments that you later regret as being tactless or inappropriate. Financial impulsivity. This could involve making rash purchasing decisions without considering the long-term consequences. Decision-making. You might make important decisions hastily without gathering sufficient information or weighing the pros and cons. Deepening the distinction. ADHD versus age-related cognitive changes. A primary concern for any older adult experiencing forgetfulness or distractibility is the possibility of dementia or Alzheimer's disease. While some symptoms overlap on the surface, their origins and patterns are fundamentally different. Let's explore these differences in more detail. 1. The timeline and nature of onset. The most critical distinction is the timeline. ADHD is a lifelong condition. The difficulties with focus, memory, and organization you have now are consistent with challenges you have faced throughout your entire life. You can likely recall similar struggles in your 40s, your 20s, and even in your school years. In contrast, the cognitive decline associated with dementia typically has a more defined onset later in life. It represents a clear and often progressive departure from your previous level of functioning. A person with early dementia may not be aware of or able to recall the history of their cognitive changes, whereas a person with ADHD can usually provide a detailed lifelong narrative of their symptoms. 2. The type of memory impairment. This is a subtle but crucial difference. With ADHD, the primary issue is often with working memory. This is the brain's sticky note function, the ability to hold and manipulate information for a short period. You might forget why you walked into a room because a new thought distracted you on the way, effectively wiping the sticky note clean. The information was never properly encoded for long-term storage in the first place. With dementia, the problem more often involves the impairment of short-term and episodic memory storage and retrieval. The memory of an event, like eating breakfast, may have been created but cannot be accessed, or it may not have been stored at all. The person may not remember the event took place, whereas the person with ADHD would likely remember eating breakfast, but might not recall what they ate unless it was particularly interesting. 3. The consistency of attention. Attention in the ADHD brain is not absent. It is inconsistent and interest-driven. An older adult with ADHD might be unable to focus on organizing their medical bills for more than 5 minutes, but can become completely absorbed for 3 hours in a favorite hobby like gardening or researching a topic online. This ability to hyper-focus on high-interest activities remains intact. In dementia, attentional decline is typically more consistent and global. The ability to concentrate diminishes across the board, affecting even previously enjoyable activities. The individual finds it increasingly difficult to engage in complex hobbies or follow the plot of a television show, regardless of their interest level. 4. Emotional and personality changes. Emotional dysregulation, experiencing emotions intensely and having difficulty managing reactions like frustration or excitement, is a lifelong core feature of ADHD. If you have always had a short fuse or been described as passionate or oversensitive, this is consistent with ADHD. In dementia, personality and mood changes represent a shift from the person's baseline personality. A person who was once calm and easygoing might become irritable and suspicious. These changes are a departure from their lifelong character, not a continuation of it. The emotional impact, acknowledging grief and relief. A late-life diagnosis of ADHD is rarely a simple event. It is often accompanied by a complex and contradictory set of emotions that must be navigated with care and self-compassion. The relief, lifting a lifetime of self-blame. The most common initial feeling is one of immense relief. For decades, you may have internalized a narrative of personal failure. You might have believed you were lazy, undisciplined, unintelligent, or fundamentally flawed. The diagnosis acts as a powerful rebuttal to this negative self-talk. It reframes a lifetime of struggles not as a series of character defects, but as the predictable outcome of living with an invisible neurological condition in a world not designed for it. This validation can feel like setting down a heavy weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. It can also explain the lifelong feeling of being an imposter, the sense that you were always working twice as hard just to keep up, terrified of being found out. The diagnosis validates that the effort was, in fact, real. The grief, mourning for what could have been. Alongside the relief, a profound sense of grief often emerges. This grief is complex and can manifest in several ways. Grief for lost opportunities. You may find yourself reevaluating your past. What if I had known this in college? Could I have pursued that more challenging career? Could I have finished writing that novel? This is a mourning for potential that was hampered by unrecognized challenges. A job loss in your 40s, once viewed as a personal failure, can now be understood as a predictable mismatch between a need for novelty and a job that demanded meticulous, repetitive work. Grief for strained relationships. This can be particularly painful. You may look back on friendships that faded, or conflicts with a spouse or children, and now recognize the role your undiagnosed ADHD played. The pain of being perceived as selfish for forgetting an anniversary, rude for interrupting a conversation, or unreliable for being late can be re-examined. Part of the grieving process is forgiving yourself for these unintentional hurts. Anger and sadness. It is perfectly valid to feel angry at a medical and educational system that overlooked your struggles. It's okay to feel deep sadness for the child, the young adult, and the middle-aged person who struggled alone, armed with nothing but self-criticism. Allowing yourself to feel and process both the relief and the grief is a critical part of the journey. These feelings are not mutually exclusive. They are two sides of the same coin of discovery. ADHD and co-occurring conditions in seniors. For many, a lifetime of undiagnosed ADHD does not happen in a vacuum. The chronic stress of navigating the world with an unsupported brain can lead to the development of other health issues. Understanding these connections is a key part of a comprehensive approach to your well-being. Anxiety and depression. It is exceedingly common for adults with ADHD to also have anxiety disorders or a history of depression. This is often a direct result of their ADHD. When you constantly struggle to meet deadlines, manage your home, and regulate your social interactions, your nervous system can exist in a state of chronic stress. This, combined with a lifetime of negative feedback and self-criticism, creates fertile ground for anxiety and depression to take root. Treating the underlying ADHD can sometimes significantly alleviate these co-occurring conditions. Sleep disorders. The connection between ADHD and sleep problems is strong. The racing mind associated with ADHD can make it very difficult to fall asleep. Furthermore, there is a higher prevalence of clinical sleep disorders such as restless leg syndrome and delayed sleep phase syndrome, a chronic misalignment of your internal clock, in the ADHD population. Prioritizing a sleep study or consultation with a sleep specialist can be a critical step. Rejection sensitive dysphoria, RSD. While not an official clinical diagnosis, RSD is a concept that resonates deeply with many in the ADHD community. It describes an extreme emotional sensitivity and pain triggered by the perception, not necessarily the reality, of being rejected, teased, or criticized. It can feel like an intense, overwhelming, and painful physical blow. Understanding RSD can help you make sense of why you may have always reacted so strongly to minor criticism or perceived slights. What now? 5 strategies for thriving with ADHD in retirement. Retirement can be a vulnerable time for someone with undiagnosed ADHD. The external structure of a career, which may have helped manage symptoms, is suddenly gone. However, this new chapter also presents a unique opportunity to consciously design a life that accommodates and even celebrates your ADHD brain. 1. Engineer your environment for success. What it is: proactively structuring your physical space and daily routines to compensate for challenges with executive functions, like organization and time management. Why it works? The ADHD brain can be easily overwhelmed by clutter and a lack of routine. Creating external systems reduces the mental energy required for daily functioning, freeing up cognitive resources for more enjoyable activities. How to do it? Establish a launch pad. Designate a specific spot by your front door for all essential items: keys, wallet, glasses, and phone. Make it a non-negotiable habit to place these items there the moment you walk in. Externalize your brain. Do not rely on your memory. Use tools like a large wall calendar for appointments, a whiteboard for daily to-do lists, and smartphone apps for reminders and alerts. Declutter in microbursts. The idea of decluttering an entire house is overwhelming. Instead, use a timer and dedicate just 15 minutes a day to one small area, a single drawer, one shelf, or a countertop. Create visual cues. Use labels on bins and drawers. Put your medication in a visible spot where you will see it in the morning. If you need to remember to bring something with you when you leave, place it directly in front of the door. 2. Align your activities with your interest-driven brain. What it is. Embracing the ADHD trait of hyperfocus by building your life around activities that genuinely capture your interest and passion. Why it works. The ADHD nervous system is not motivated by importance or priority, but by interest, novelty, and urgency. Forcing yourself to do things you find boring is neurologically difficult. Retirement is the perfect time to stop fighting this and start working with it. How to do it. Rediscover old passions. Make a list of hobbies and interests you had to abandon due to work and family responsibilities. Was it painting, woodworking, playing a musical instrument, or gardening? Embrace the dopamine of novelty. The ADHD brain is a novelty seeker because new and exciting experiences provide a much-needed boost of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Reframe your tendency to jump between hobbies not as a flaw, quitting, but as a strength. You are a curious, engaged, lifelong learner. Lean into hyperfocus. When you find an activity that absorbs you, allow yourself to dive in. This state of deep engagement is incredibly rewarding and is a superpower of the ADHD brain. 3. Prioritize brain-body health. A holistic approach to managing ADHD symptoms through targeted exercise, nutrition, and sleep hygiene. Why it works. Lifestyle factors have a direct and significant impact on the neurotransmitters, dopamine and norepinephrine, that are implicated in ADHD. Optimizing these factors can function like a natural support system for your brain. How to do it. Movement is medicine. Aerobic exercise is one of the most effective non-pharmacological strategies for ADHD. Activities like brisk walking, swimming, or dancing increase blood flow to the brain and boost dopamine levels, which improves focus and mood. Aim for at least 30 minutes on most days. Fuel your brain. Focus on a diet that stabilizes blood sugar and supports neurotransmitter production. Protein is key, especially at breakfast, to provide the building blocks for dopamine. Choose complex carbs like whole grains over sugary foods to prevent energy crashes. Incorporate omega-3 fatty acids from sources like fatty fish and walnuts to support overall brain health. Hydration is non-negotiable. Even mild dehydration can significantly impair cognitive function, exacerbating symptoms of inattention. Keep a water bottle with you throughout the day. Guard your sleep. Poor sleep can severely worsen ADHD symptoms. Create a consistent, relaxing bedtime routine. Avoid screens for at least an hour before bed, and ensure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool. 4. Practice targeted brain training and mindfulness. Engaging in specific mental exercises designed to strengthen executive functions and calm a restless mind. Why it works. While ADHD is a lifelong condition, the brain has a remarkable ability to adapt, neuroplasticity. Consistent practice can help build stronger neural pathways for attention and emotional regulation. How to do it. Mindfulness meditation. Contrary to popular belief, mindfulness is not about emptying your mind. It is about practicing the skill of noticing when your mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. Start with just 3 to 5 minutes a day using a guided meditation app. This is like a workout for your brain's attention muscle. Cognitive exercises. Engage in activities that challenge your working memory and processing speed. This could include learning a new language, playing strategic board games like chess, or using brain training apps specifically designed for cognitive skill building. The one thing at a time rule. The ADHD brain is drawn to multitasking, which often results in many unfinished tasks. Make a conscious effort to do one thing at a time. This practice trains your brain to stay in the present moment. 5. Build your support and accommodation team. What it is. Proactively seeking support from professionals, family, and peers who understand and can help you implement effective strategies. Why it works. Living with ADHD can be isolating. Connecting with others who share your experience provides validation, reduces shame, and offers a wealth of practical advice. How to do it. Seek professional guidance. Work with a therapist who specializes in adult ADHD. They can provide cognitive behavioral therapy, which is highly effective for developing coping mechanisms. An ADHD coach can offer practical, hands-on help with organization and planning. Educate your family. Share reliable resources with your loved ones. Help them understand that your ADHD-related behaviors are not intentional. This can transform relationship dynamics. Find your tribe. Look for online or local support groups for adults or seniors with ADHD. Sharing experiences and strategies with peers who truly get it is incredibly empowering. A practical guide to do's and don'ts. Do practice self-compassion. You are unlearning decades of self-criticism. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Acknowledge small victories. Celebrate your progress. Finishing a small task you've been putting off is a significant achievement. Use technology as an ally. Set alarms, use digital calendars, and explore apps designed to help with focus and organization. Embrace your strengths. People with ADHD are often highly creative, energetic, resilient, and great in a crisis. Recognize and value these qualities. Don't overhaul your life overnight. Choose one small, manageable strategy to implement first. Build momentum slowly. Don't compare your journey. ADHD affects everyone differently. Focus on your own progress and needs. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Don't view your diagnosis as a deficit. See it as a user's manual for your unique brain. It gives you the information you need to operate at your best. The medical perspective, the role of medication. For many older adults, medication can be a transformative part of their ADHD management plan, significantly improving focus and reducing impulsivity. Stimulant medications. Medications like methylphenidate and amphetamine salts are the most common and effective treatments. They work by increasing the availability of dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain. Non-stimulant medications. Options like atomoxetine are also available and can be effective, though they may take longer to show results. Some physicians may express hesitation in prescribing stimulants to seniors due to potential concerns about cardiovascular health, such as increased heart rate or blood pressure. However, with a thorough cardiac evaluation and ongoing monitoring, these medications can be used safely and effectively for many older adults. The decision to pursue medication is a personal one and must be made in careful consultation with a psychiatrist or physician who is knowledgeable about treating ADHD in this age group. Supporting a loved one with a new diagnosis. If your spouse, parent, or friend has recently been diagnosed, your understanding and support can be invaluable. Listen and validate, give them space to talk about their feelings of both grief and relief. Acknowledge the courage it took to seek an answer after all these years. Learn about ADHD. Educate yourself on what ADHD is and is not. Understanding the neurological basis of their struggles can foster empathy and reduce frustration. Externalize the enemy. Adopt a team mentality. It's not you versus your partner. It's both of you versus the ADHD. Instead of, "Why did you forget?" Try framing it as, "The ADHD made us forget that. How can we set a reminder for next time?" This collaborative approach removes blame and fosters connection. Focus on strengths. Actively notice and comment on their ADHD-related strengths. Say things like, "Your ability to think of such a creative solution really saved the day," or "Your energy is what makes our family gatherings so much fun." This helps them build a more balanced self-image. Conclusion. A late-life diagnosis of ADHD is a profound event. It is the discovery of a fundamental piece of information that reframes the past, clarifies the present, and opens up new possibilities for the future. It marks the end of self-blame and the beginning of self-understanding. The challenges you have faced were not the result of a lack of effort or willpower. You have a brain that is wired differently, and now you have the knowledge to work with it, not against it. By implementing tailored strategies, prioritizing your health, and building a strong support system, you can make your retirement years a time of fulfillment, engagement, and authentic self-acceptance. If you found this video valuable, Please give it a like to help others find it, and subscribe to our channel for more content that supports your mental health journey. Sharing this video could be the first step in helping a friend or family member find an answer they've been searching for their whole life. We truly believe that our greatest strength is in community. We would love to hear from you in the comments below. What was the most significant aha moment for you while watching this? Or if you've been on this journey for a while, what is one piece of advice you would offer to a fellow senior who has just received their diagnosis? By sharing your experience, you can light the way for someone else. Thank you for being a part of our community. Disclaimer. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The information we're sharing is designed to support, not replace, the relationship that exists between you and your healthcare provider.